Welcome everybody to another edition of Teams in 20. Today's session is all about digital desktop. We are going to talk to you about optimizing your desktop. And yes, optimize isn't really a word, something we made up thanks to ChatGPT. And then my amazing colleague, Alex Grover, who's one of our cloud solution architects, is going to take you through a day in the life of a modern work colleague using a digital desktop. So let's get started. But before we do, what problem are we trying to actually solve? So the latest report from Asana says that knowledge workers switch between 10 apps 25 times a day. So that is a lot of time just switching between apps and not really achieving much. We lose apparently 3.6 hours per week to unnecessary meetings. 62% of our workday is lost to repetitive and mundane tasks. And if you look anywhere across the internet about the challenges with switching app and the times lost, there's tons of like these posts that say things like app switching is killing your team's productivity. On the recent as today, so 9th of May, the latest Work Trend Index report, which is called Will AI Fix Work? Really interesting read, and I'll share the links in the description. But it says that 68% of people say they don't have enough uninterrupted focus time during the workday. Now, if you've watched any of the sessions that we've done before, we talk a lot about this and the importance of trying to keep your focus and stop wasting time having to reset your memory of what you've already done and having to restart all your work from the beginning until you eventually complete it. Just lots and lots of wasted time. And I think lots of people on this call will understand this last stat. 64% say they struggle with time and energy to do their job. Lots of people suffering from burnout there. So we analysed surveys of more than 3 million people at more than 200 companies across industries and looked at the combined stock price movement of those companies throughout 2022. And in the last study, we found that to increase overall performance, you need not only to have great productivity tools and practices, but you also need to have effective engagement with all your colleagues. So there are some key findings from that Work Trend Index report. Just really talking about communications and feedback wheels and how that impacts your bottom line if you don't have great engagement. But if you don't include productivity as well, you're probably not going to hit the performance targets that you would like. And this is where Teams really comes in. So if you start to think of Teams as a platform, and not just a video solution or a chat solution, but a full platform, including tools that are not actually Microsoft. DocuSign recently stated that we waste on average 32 days just by switching apps. And Teams is a platform. Teams brings in a whole host of different tools that could help you prevent that app switching and just really keep you in the flow of work as well. So when we talk to our customers, we often talk about this whole building your digital office and bringing those apps that you use every day into Teams, whether they're pinned on this left-hand rail or whether they're in a catalog that colleagues can choose from and pin themselves if it's useful, whether it's in one of the tabs across the top there, in one of your favorite channels, relevant channels. Or even at the bottom here of a post where you see there's some little buttons there, so where you would normally attach a document and write up your post, there's actually what we called message extensions in there. So you can bring in some of those apps. One of the most popular is actually YouTube. You could pin that app into that message extension. Now, I'm going to hand straight over to Alex because he's got some great stuff to show you about how we bring in third-party apps into Microsoft Teams. Over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Jay. So we've got a list of sort of business cases, use cases, I suppose, that related to some third-party apps. So I won't go through this whole list, so I'm going to give you a bit of a run-through or a demo of the majority of them right in Teams that will really help bring it to life. But just a sort of bit of a description here. So this deployment difficulty This is it's a metric that I provided based on sort of how easy it was to install this on Teams. Simple being something that you can install right from Teams, right? You don't really need any admin assistance. You don't need to really leave Teams to sort of get this up and running, as long as you've got an account that you can log into. Obviously, if you're doing single sign-on, there's slightly more sort of admin involvement there. The medium is perhaps where you need to go and provision something else, whether it's in SharePoint, whether it's in Azure, whether it's on the third party's website. That's something there. And then complex is something where there's a lot more involvement to get that going. But the majority of these apps that I'm going to be showing you are really simple to get deployed. And if you're already using them and you've already got accounts, then why not use them in Teams? And we've got this licensing column here as well. If you just can sort of see which apps, majority that I'm showing, in fact, all of them that I'm showing you today have a free trial, so you can give that a go. But if you're already not a user and sort of see how your users, or see if you enjoy the experience. So I'm gonna just before I go on as well, we will have a link to a sort of demo or a longer video of each of these apps here. So that'll be in the description, where you can sort of at your leisure go and have a look. If you are interested in a particular app, say YouTube, or let's say it's the Breakthur app, there'll be a link in the description where you can see a much longer demo than what I'm going to show you today. So I was planning to sort of give you a bit of a story. Let's say I'm work on the service desk, or perhaps I'm a developer and I've just started my day's work, and I've opened up my my Jira app. I've actually got a team pinned here, because this was actually it's a recording of a demo that we gave a couple of weeks ago to our retail customers. But so this is keeping all the cards and all the sort of tabs I wanted to demo in one place. But yeah, so I've woken up, or I've got to work, and I've looked on Jira, because typically if there's an app I'm supporting, this is where it will be. And this is it's a filtered list that I've created in Jira. So if you're familiar with Jira, you can create filters in there to show you issues that are assigned to you across a whole load of projects or whatever that you use in Jira. So we've got here a couple of issues here: issue with the ServiceNow virtual agent. Okay, I better go and check that out. Or an issue with the OpenAI search app that we've been developing is not working anymore. So I can see here I can interact with these directly, or I can sort of just interact with them here as well, change them to in progress. And it's quite a rich experience. It's a similar sort of experience you would get if you're in Jira. I can even create issues from here as well. So let's say that I've now finished with that, and perhaps I need to raise a service desk instance, because my I've got a meeting in a room and the projector's not working. So I can go straight to Freshdesk chatbot, and I can straight away here, I can create a ticket. You can see here I can put my email in, I can fill out all the various things that you would expect to see in a sort of service desk ticket or request, and create that, and that will push that straight to Freshdesk for a sort of service desk representative to pick up and action. And I can do that all from within Teams. So now I've raised that instant, I can sort of look at my tasks. So typically I'd be looking at Microsoft To Do and all sorts of other stuff. But as we're doing with third-party apps here, I perhaps want to look at my Monday.com board. So again, I've gone back to my tab, and I can review any sort of actions that I've got. So I can see here this week that I've got to provision the demo tenant, which I've done. I've got to install those third-party apps now, which I've done. Prepare for the demo, which is being completed, and then next week I've got to cancel all these trials. So you can see here I'm interacting directly with the Monday.com. If I were to open up Monday.com, you would see these tasks being reflected exactly as they are here. The UI is pretty much the same. I've just got this pinned to a particular board in Monday.com rather than looking at everything. So again, quite a good way if you're collaborating with others, particularly as well. to have the board pinned into your team. So now, just before I move on, I'm going to check if I've got any requests to sign off on in my Adobe Acrobat Sign, and I can see here that I've got one agreement that I need to sign, so I can click on that, and I can see here that I've got this bonus that requires my signature, so I can open that up, view and sign, and I can see here that there's a bonus that I need to sign for, and it'll come in my next pay cycle. So brilliant. So I can do that there. Again, all still from Teams. I haven't gone anywhere else. I've seen the notification. I haven't had to leave Teams. It's all been logged in for me. Everything's there. And now I can get my bonus in my next pay cycle. You could maybe just quickly saw there that there's a couple of notifications that popped up. So another benefit of using these apps within Teams is the app developers can start to use all the functionality that comes within Teams, such as the notifications and the adaptive cards and all those sort of things. And even I can see a bit of an activity feed as well in here. So, it's not just almost like a window through to the app. Some of them are, but others can, it's an app that's been built on the team platform. There's a lot of other sort of features that you can benefit from as a user. So whilst I've sort of showed you all that, I wanted to quickly signpost to Viva Connections. So Viva Connections, whilst not a third-party app, it's a perfect sort of dashboard where you can aggregate data from all sorts of different sources. So this is, quite a sort of visionary idea of how to use Viva Connections. But so I went on my my tasks, for example, to look at my sort of Jira tasks. But let's say I was also using ServiceNow, and I needed to reset the SQL password, and I could, go and do that, mark complete on ServiceNow. Perhaps I wanted to chat with whoever created that to talk to them about the issue, and I could interact with it directly with there. And I've got to go into Jira to look at this Azure function that's not working, but it's done now. And Monday.com already went on there, and you can see how that I can interact with these tasks that are directly on these third-party platforms, all from one window. So I'm not even navigating between different apps now within Teams. Again, the provers, another sort of way I could, my reward package, my bonus that I did from Adobe. Perhaps there's a request in the Teams approvals apps to do, and maybe there's something in SAP to approve as well. I can do all that again from directly within the Viva Connections dashboard. And then that service desk ticket that I raised, similar sort of feel as well. I did have to look for the Freshdesk app and go and talk to the chatbot, but there's no reason why I couldn't have done it all from the Viva Connections dashboard. There we go, off to ServiceNow, and you can see here there's various other cards, but they're not really related to third-party apps, so we won't go into them today, but perhaps on another session. So my next app that I wanted to show was Breakthur. I won't do a demo, but let's say I'm been preparing for this demo I'm about to do, and I'm perhaps need to have a bit of a sort of moment to myself, and I can go onto this app and take a break, and it could take me through a guided meditation or perhaps some sort of movement. A good app to use to sort of re-energize yourself or just take a moment. And you can see here that it's been notifying me every day. That's a sort of feature of the app. You can set a notification or a reminder schedule, and then so mine seems to be at 12:05, 12:04 each day. It will send you a notification to remind you to take a break in some sort of way. So a great app there for wellness and for sort of staying on form. So just before my demo, I would perhaps want to review some whiteboards. So two third-party whiteboards apps that are quite good is Figma being one of them. So FigJam is sort of the part of Figma that is a sort of virtual whiteboarding tool. And you can see here that I was using this to sort of map out my story of what I wanted to show you guys. So, you know, I looked at my service instant map with Jira, I went onto the taskmanager.com, I did my sign off, showed you doing all that with the connections, taking my break, and now we're looking at Figma, and we'll look at some more as well. So the next one being my Miro board. So I'm just reviewing the list of apps that I wanted to install on this tenant to show you today. A couple of others on there as well, sort of in the categories, and another great app, really good for collaboration as well. So you can see that it's only me here, but if there was others, you can sort of see exactly where their cursor is, and you know, you can all do real time live collaborating. Great apps to use it if you're in a meeting and you want to whiteboard some stuff, or general collaboration, informal collaboration. So the next app that perhaps I wanted to show you, so you know, I've now done my session, but there's been some sort of great ideas that have been shared that I want to put through into the ideas by Sideways 6. So this is an app to sort of keep, well, they call them campaigns, sort of have a campaign for a certain idea, or you want someone to come in and suggest something. So we've got a couple campaigns running here, one around third-party apps. So perhaps we want to get suggestions from users to see which apps that are going to be beneficial for them to sort of boost their productivity. Or perhaps we're suggesting that we're going to run a hackathon, and we want to get some ideas in from our user community to sort of see what they want to do there, and see what ideas they have to collaborate in the hack. So another great app that's integrated within Teams and makes use of some of the Teams platform capabilities, such as notifications and the adaptive cards that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so now I've sort of entered my ideas from the meeting. I've entered them in there, and now I've got a bit of time for my next meeting, and perhaps I want to open up the YouTube app. Fun fact about the YouTube app is that it's one of the most used apps in the UK in Teams, and you can see here that I've got a few recently viewed videos and channels that perhaps I want to look at. Teams in 20, the session that you're watching today. The other cool thing about this app is it will aggregate links that have been shared in your various chats for YouTube links, which I think is a great feature. You know, typically in my team we share a lot of YouTube links to each other in some of the chats that I'm in, and just opening this app and seeing them all there in one place is useful. So the last app that I wanted to sort of show you today and sort of finish my day off is a bit of learning. So LMS365, a great LMS platform, allowing you to integrate your whether it's some sort of bespoke e-learning content you built yourself, or perhaps from other providers. It also integrates really well with Viva Learning if you're a user of Viva Learning. But you can see here they've got quite a feature-rich Teams app where I've jumped straight into a course here. But if I were to go to the dashboard, I can sort of see a few more options of courses. So here's one that I've actually got filtered, but if I wanted to look at the catalogue, I'd be able to see a few more courses. Again, I haven't got many configured on this tenant because it's just a demo tenant, but there's a handful of courses here. But you know, you would see a lot more here. You know, you can go through this learning platform again, all integrated within Teams. You'll notice this whole session, this whole demo, I haven't left Teams at all, and everything has all been within the Teams app. So yeah, no, that's everything I wanted to show you today. I hope that's brought some of this apps in Teams to life. You can see some sort of ideas of how the apps go. I haven't really gone into a huge amount of detail, but if you did want to look at in more detail, you can view some of the links that we'll have in the description to provide more detail of the apps. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Alex. That was fantastic. I hope that's really brought to life a lot of the things that we're hearing people say is a real challenge for them. So, all this switching between apps makes you lose your focus. In a few of the previous Teams in 20 sessions we've talked a lot about how to maintain your focus and the impact that it has on your day if you don't. So, there's some great stats out there that I mentioned earlier in today's session about the impact that switching between those apps has on you. If you want to know any more about what some of the things you've seen today, and you've got a CSM on your account or a CSAM on your account, do reach out to those because I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you. And just to finish today's session, if you have got any feedback, if you want to let us know what you'd like to see in future sessions, you want to give Alex some praise on his awesome session or ask us a question, then please do in the survey. And that is everything for today. So thank you so much.